In this episode of Attila's Deadliest Warriors, we're going to be putting the awesome and elite Agathyrsi Warriors up against the equally elite and equally awesome Royal Huscarls of the Jutes. In terms of charge and weapon damage, it's no contest. The Royal Huscarls are much more devastating on the charge than the Elite Agathyrsi, not because their charge bonus is that much higher, because it isn't, but because they have a 20 bonus on their weapon, while the Agathyrsi do not. However, the Agathyrsi do have one advantage, or actually two advantages over the Royal Huscarls. Both units can one-shot their counterparts with their weapon on the charge. The range on the Huscarl weapon is longer than the range on the Elite Agathyrsi weapon. The range is 2 on Huscarls and 1 on the Elite Agathyrsi. But the precursors of the Elite Agathyrsi means that they will be able to do very reliable damage against the Huscarls, because precursors in the form of javelins hit a lot easier. They have far less spread. They have a lower trajectory than say you're throwing axes. So it would be very interesting to see how that plays out, because if you saw the fight between the Huscarls and the Heterea guards, the Heterea guards and the Huscarls basically annihilate each other. However, the Heterea guards have throwing axes. They do not have javelins. So it will be interesting to see how that affects things. Now they cost the exact same. The price is the same for these two units, 775 for both. And the only advantage that the Huscarls have over the Agathyrsi, I have to say that it's basically only the bonus and the range on the weapon. Everything else is fairly similar or better for the Agathyrsi, mainly because they have the precursors and they have the headhunt ability. The headhunt ability will allow them to stay in the fight even though they're about to break. So they throw their precursors, and let's just see how many casualties they're able to inflict on the charge here before contact has been made. 22 dead Huscarls. It's going to be really difficult for the Huscarls to bring that massive advantage back. They are going to try though, and let's see here. It's quite insane actually, because now the Huscarls are at 60 and the Agathyrsi are at 52, so very rapidly the Huscarls were able to close the gap, and now they are slaughtering the Elite Agathyrsi. If the Elite Agathyrsi didn't use their precursors, this would be no contest. However, I'm going to do something here that I haven't done in the other tests. I'm going to activate Headhunt to allow the Elite Agathyrsi to stay in the fight and do more damage, because they are just straight up losing here, but then they were able to stay in the fight due to the Headhunt. And over here as well, Royal Huscarls losing so many men from precursors, and here the Royal Huscarls were just slaughtered. Over here as well, the Royal Huscarls get a good spanking. A bit more even though, but the lack of headhunt means that the Royal Huscarls are going to break, wavering at the same time here. And over here it looks like the Elite Agathyrsi are actually going to take the Royal Huscarls. So out of all the units that the Royal Huscarls have been put up against, the Elite Agathyrsi have done the best job in killing off the Huscarls, and that is because of the combination of a high charge, but most importantly, a high charge, high weapon damage, a high melee attack. But the main killer here is the precursor javelins of the Elite Agathyrsi. So if the Huscarls had headhunt and precursors, they would be decidedly more deadly. However, they lack both those things. They have the Great Dane Axe, but they lack some of the abilities of these other shock infantry units. And just as a side note, as a historical side note, I'm always a fan of keeping game balance and historical discussions separate, because trying to mix those two makes a royal mess of things. But it could be interesting to note that the full complement of gear for a Huscarl would be spear or javelin. They would sort of double up as spear or javelin. So spear / javelin, shield, sword, dagger, one-handed axe, throwing axe, two-handed axe. So they would have a rather complete complement of gear that they were able to use in several situations. So you wouldn't see entire formations of men with just the two-handed axe rushing into battle. That would be suicidal. The two-handed axe was a tool, the Dane axe was a tool of destruction used at fitting times. But they would have other things with them to the battlefield as well, so they wouldn't be as one-dimensional as they are portrayed in this game. Strength and honor.